Welcome back to Soda City Live. September is Suicide Prevention Month. We've talked about the struggles with depression and suicide, but what about for our youth? They may not experience the same stress that adults do, but they still need support. The South Carolina Department of Mental Health and the South Carolina Department of Children's Advocacy, they've teamed up to offer a new online interactive screener for children to help parents to be proactive in giving them potentially life-saving resources that they may need. Joining me today is Director of Communications for the SC Department of Children's Advocacy. That's Rob. And I have the Program Director of the Office of Suicide Prevention Center returning this week with us, Jessica Barnes. So grateful to have the two of you joining us, and welcome back.
Thank you.
2 times in the week, but guess what? For great things. So first, I want us to kind of talk about what this assessment is and who would be the appropriate candidate for it.
So this is a wonderful assessment. We were able to do it with partnership with AFSP to develop the questionnaire that parents can take on behalf of their children or even with their children. And they will assess overall mental health, if the child's experiencing suicide ideation, substance use, and then they know that there's a real person that's going to look over that questionnaire and then respond back and let that parent or guardian know, hey, this is what we're seeing with your child. This is where resources we would recommend, and this is some stuff that's in your area. And then if that parent or guardian chooses, they can dialogue back with questions, and it's all anonymous. So they know that there is that anonymity to it, so that they have somebody that is really a human responding, and it's both us, Department of Mental Health, and Department of Children Advocacy responding to those questionnaires.
Now, one thing that I want our viewers to know, I know sometimes parents, you might have an inkling something is going on, and they absolutely would be an appropriate candidate. But even if you're not suspecting that anything is going on, would you recommend parents just try it with their children or take the assessment on their children's behalf?
Yes, because it's a great way to just kind of get a picture and idea of what is happening.
Right.
Sometimes we never fully know what's going on, so it's a good conversation starter, especially if they're doing it with the child with them or the adolescent with them. And then if the parent's ever worried for their own mental health, we have a adult mental health screener as well that we do with partnership with DAODAS that the parent can take for themselves, also to check in with their own mental health.
I love that. And speaking of advocacy for children, let's talk a little bit about the resources that you all offer.
So the Department of Children's Advocacy has, we were set up initially to advocate for better outcomes for children and families across the state. We have an 800 number where folks can call if they are, if they believe that their child is not receiving services they should be. But when we were answering those phone calls, we learned over time that there were a lot of resources that people didn't know were available, and actually they just needed to be connected to those. And so on our website, we created a resource library that covers a tremendous amount of different areas. And so, we invite anybody to go out and look at that resource library to see what we have available. And one of the things that we do cover is suicide prevention, but it has everything from housing to education. It runs the gamut.
I love that. And this is I think this is an absolute amazing resource, because I think about how many adults we have that are walking around with childhood trauma, and it's not just preventative of, a suicide, but it's preventative of anything that might harm this person along the line once they become or reach adulthood rather. And how long does it take for parents or families to get the results from the assessment?
Yeah. So it can vary from time to time. We usually ask for at least 24 hours to respond back. So they should be getting a response within 24 hours, because this is not a crisis resource.
Right.
Now, if they were needing mental health crisis or crisis resources, they will have the availability and the numbers right there for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline and the mobile crisis that we have here in South Carolina. But we give that time so we can review and go over and respond back.
I love it. And I appreciate the two of you joining us today to share a little bit about those resources that are available for our youth. And if you take a look at your screen there, all the details are right there, the crisis, the hotline number there. And we'll also have on our website additional information on where you can find the resource library for the Children Advocacy for South Carolina. And of course, we'll have that link for that assessment as well. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this.